I interviewed more than 147 millionaire creators, and today we're going to look at one of them who's really crushing it. He tripled his business over the last 12 months. We will look into his funnel, how he gets customers, what he's actually selling, and what you can learn to grow your business profitably. Hi, I'm Bellmann, and I made 60 million on social media without showing my face. We became one of America's fastest growing company, made it on the Inc. 5000 list. The award is in the background. And we also got several different revenue awards. These are not music awards. Have nothing to do with music. Sorry about that. I'm the guy that shows you how to grow profitably using social media, especially in the era of AI. Good. So let's look at that. The people that I interviewed are all here at milliondollarcreators.club. It's completely for free. You can just search a database. And when I go through that, I'm interested in revenue per follower because these are the people that are making millions with just a really tiny audience. The guy I want to look at today is Jacob Klug. He runs a no-code software agency. This is me with him on a podcast a year ago. Back then he was 20 years old and he just turned 22. And if I look what he's selling, a fractionalized product tech for startups, creators that ships MVPs or tools in a month or two. He's flex on pricing and the price ranges from $2,000 all the way up to $30,000 a month. And obviously with that price point, you don't need a lot of customers to crack 7 figures. He started with Bubble back in the days and then jumped on to Webflow, Notion, Figma, Slack. The thing that he's building right now on is Lovable. We will check that out in a second. Back then he was at $83,000 MRR, which is just $1 million in revenue. And the only cost that he has are developers building the things because he wants to leverage himself. Back then, this was his audience. What you can see here is, and I checked that in advance, his LinkedIn and his YouTube especially exploded. He has now 31,722 followers, which is 31,000 more than he had before. And he has 3,000 followers on YouTube. That makes sense because these are the channels where the money is, especially for him with a tech agency. Let's look at his Instagram and TikTok. Okay, 1,000 followers, so double, but not many posts. He's not using that to promote his business. Let's look at TikTok. He has 3,200 followers there right now, just a little bit more than what he had a year ago. His TikTok and his Instagram is not a priority. It is LinkedIn followed by YouTube. Let's look at his post. Yeah, he's in the whole vibe. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need a lot of time. You don't need a big team to just build something cool. He is using and leveraging that tool to build things that previously took way longer. And with that, he can also offer lower price points than other agencies out there. But at the same time, because he can build for a fraction of time, he makes really good margin on his prices still. And this is also really interesting. Apparently, he's an investor in Lovable now. That means that he reinvested some of the funds that he made with his agency into Lovable because he's pushing them so much and he thinks that they can go sky high. Very likely also got preferred terms because he is, with his agency, also a big promoter of Lovable. So I bet it was a win-win and they gave him a really good offer where he couldn't say no to invest in the company. Every creator I interviewed said if they're not on YouTube, so let's say they were on Instagram, they were on TikTok, they were anywhere, they would always say, when I asked them where's the biggest money, where do they want to go to, they always said YouTube. Because YouTube is a long form content piece where people watch 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 2 hours of your content in one batch and then they binge. And with that, you create a much deeper relationship, much more trust. And that in the end makes your sales close rate go up significantly and shortens the sales cycle. So what he's doing both on LinkedIn and then for short form or text form, which is also short, and then long form on YouTube, he's pre-selling, but providing value about how easy it is to build your own MVP or tool with Lovable. Obviously, it's not that easy. If you go into Lovable, you build a couple of things, you realize quickly it's really cool, but then the moment when you want to customize something, it actually is tough and not where it needs to be at. And I think that's the gap that he's filling right now, where he comes in with his agency and says, you know what, you want to build something really, really quick. Here's how you can do it. I show you, but then you want to do it yourself and you realize it's too difficult and maybe he can help. And then if you now look at his webpage, which is a classic long form sales page, testimonials down here, some cool effects so that you think, oh cool, this is amazing. I can learn something here. MVP for 10 grand. So high ticket offers, you just need a couple of customers and you're immediately into the 5, 6, and then 7 figures. Some use cases that he gets over and over again from customers asking for the same thing over and over. That makes him make even more margin because he can repurpose the tools that he's already built. And here you got a VSL, video sales letter.
There's a good chance you've been sitting on an idea that you know.
Okay, interesting. Classical thing with VSLs, you don't have a progress bar. You don't know how long this video is. So you have to watch the whole thing. Often you get sucked in it, and then after 60 minutes or so, you're still there, and then you cannot do anything else than booking a call or clicking something because you invested so much time. So that's a classic thing. Smart move, makes total sense. And this is also his main CTA. So he wants you to schedule a call. He doesn't even qualify. That's interesting because that either means he is pre-selling so well that he doesn't get grab leads, or it's an opportunity to put in a little quiz that would help him to qualify more. For calendar bookings, this is cal.com. Something that he could use is iClose. Gives you see this here? Gives you a couple more qualification questions. You get the phone number, you get the monthly revenue, and all of a sudden you can disqualify customers who are not interesting and maybe send them to an online course or some other page. And if they are right up your alley because they have enough revenue so that they can invest, and you also get a phone number and so on, you essentially can set up whatever you need, then this tool gives you a much better conversion than the classical one. Okay, awesome. So let's go back, see if we can find something else that he could do better. Yes, this is another thing that's interesting. If you want to know how these pages are built, you can just like right click, inspect, and then you look for, usually here in the header, you look for something that looks like the tool provider. You don't really see anything here. Like WordPress would say WordPress, Square would say Square. While he's promoting Lovable, I bet this one here was built in Webflow. Why? Because these class names here of this HTML page says VF or WF. It's very likely a Webflow page. And why? Because what I said earlier, you can build cool things with Lovable, but if you want to take it to a whole nother level and you want to obsess over details and you want to have your branding dialed in and everything needs to make sense, it's still Webflow. Okay, but that doesn't matter because there's a ginormous wave of people that just want to build a quick tool or MVP of their idea for way less and way quicker than before. So let me quickly zoom out a bit and tell you how I look at things. This is my blueprint on how to grow profitably to $10 million with AI-powered marketing engines. And there are 4 containers. The first one is the core, where it's about the offer that you create. And in order to build a really strong offer, you have to understand the customer, the gap in the market, and then you have to create an offer which is irresistible so that they cannot say no. And this is, I think, something that he has done really, really well, because this is not about like, hey, book a call, book something, but launch an MVP or tool. This is what they're after. Let's say the ideal customer has 100 or 200 people and let's say 30 to 50 developers. It is actually quite hard to build anything because everything is in processes and Jira and everything is complicated because it's standardized. So launching a quick tool or MVP is super hard. And that doesn't matter if that's an established company or if it's a single solo entrepreneur with some funds. So if you want to build something quickly, that's a pretty smart CTA. And then you come to the homepage, right? And this is always interesting and I think really important. Content, your content, and this is like literally most of the creators get this wrong because they're coming from the social media angle, from, hey, what could be interesting things that you could talk about? I think the thing that you need to talk about is always coming from the offer. If he sells a fast track to Lovable apps, you would talk about how to build cool shit with Lovable, his personal story to make him relatable on how to build cool shit with his agency, obviously. One content pillar would be about actionable tactics, the game plan, the specific steps that you need to do to achieve ABC. And then you would have another one where you talk about customers, about your testimonials, people that you delivered something in a really short time. And of course, he tries to be contrarian. He tries to provoke. Never Apply to Y Combinator again was one that was really successful for him. That's essentially what you got to do in order to get engagement on social right now. So that means he does content marketing on LinkedIn. And let's look at his YouTube. That makes sense. It's time to build, giving you the identity that you can build. So for you thought maybe you need developers, you need a team, but he makes it now super easy or sounding easy to build things. I help world-class startups and enterprises build products 10 times faster. That makes so much sense. It's a good angle. It's a high-ticket angle. You can charge good money for that, and there's a clear demand. So that means here, his growth engine, he understood the customer. He know how to be appealing with Lovable and a really good design and a cool vibe. Speaking of vibe, he has here a video on vibe coding, which makes total sense. It's what the trends are, and that leads to attention, and attention leads to sales. At the offer, he gets customers. Then, it's also interesting, as he sells for more than 10K a month. He could also define who his ideal clients are, usually frustrated founders of an SMB, where you can sense that they want to build interesting things because they were built in the past, and then you just enable them to build again, which they cannot do anymore with their current company. What he could then do, 10 touch points per day to exactly attract these clients. What he would do is he would go for a lead list on LinkedIn, so target companies, target personas. He would get them through a tool like Apollo or just by looking at databases on LinkedIn or events. And then he would enrich this data with Clay and then do outreach campaigns with a tool like Lemlist, for example. And with that, he can then have a high-ticket sales funnel to make the first 100K within weeks. As he was on my podcast and he also was on other podcasts, that was also another way how he got visibility. So he didn't just rely on outbound sales, but he also invested into marketing. And there he had very clear on what he stands for, which is how to build something fast and good quality quick with Lovable. If you look at his videos as well, he changed a lot over the course the last 2 years. From here, skinny 20-year-old to Iman Ghazi style. He pumps content. With that, he attracts people, and he has a team in the background who delivers on these tools. So he is the marketing machine to generate attention, and then he puts people into his high ticket offer. And if you then look into funnels, and this is the third one, the scaling engine. What's your funnel? How do you promote it with ads or organic? And then how do you close more than 80% of people? He is up here, direct to call. He actually does organic. I'm not sure if he also runs ads. He could. With that, he could blow up a little bit more. And then direct to call through his webpage. And then he sells high ticket offers. And he's of course optimized as well using AI tools. And with that, he's on the track. If you look at his videos, he just posted 2 months ago how I built a 250K a month Lovable agency, his story. So based on the 83K where I interviewed him a year ago, he now tripled his business. That is a $3 million run rate. And if he triples that again, then he will be close to $10 million. And of course, highly profitable. He's 22 years old. So maybe let's watch a second, just get a feeling here.
I make a shit ton of money every single month building apps with Lovable. I'm talking that my agency, Creme Digital, does $250,000 every single month without fail, building apps with AI for clients all over the world, ranging from startups, enterprises, you name it, we built it, okay? But this video isn't about me flexing. I want to show you the exact steps, the roadmap I took to get here, because I was once a kid in high school. I was once somebody that sat in the back of their class.
This is so important to become a thought leader. Hormozi has done it. I know Hormozi from 10 years ago when we were at Funnel Hacking Live, and he had short hair and it was cringy to see him on stage. It wasn't really strong. And today he just became a different person. That's the whole point of this triplet, this triage of understanding your customer, understanding what is your magnetic identity, who do you have to become, and then showing that irresistible offer so that they can do the same thing that you have done. Of course, you have taken longer for this because you went through the pain and you are selling them the map, the shortcut to also get there. That's what he's doing here at perfection. And this is the first container on how to have a strong growth engine, which is what we looked at here, to make 7 figures with a really small team, very, very profitable. He doesn't have a lot of customer acquisition costs because customers come automatically to him through the content that he's selling. Let's look at his YouTube, 110 videos. Here's not so many. That means he invested mainly in shorts. Have a look at the shorts. Is this Nick Sararev style where you talk about but tailored to Lovable and always business opportunity, how to make money with your idea. That makes sense because selling money is the easiest sell. So there are the 3 big buckets: health, wealth, relationships. If you focus on that, there's always a case on how to convey a perceived value to prospects that is crazy. And then you can of course charge 10K for that or 30K a month because it's a business opportunity in this case, right? He focused on wealth. Hey, build this idea, make this an idea in reality, and you build the next Airbnb, you become a gazillionaire, and it's only costing you 30K. That's a great offer. Let's see what the free community is offering. This is lead magnet, a circle community. For this, you could use circle or school or passion. And that builds trust. Instead of having this long copy sales page where tell everyone how great this is, and here's the crazy shiny testimonials and whatnot, in the communities, you have actual people asking actual questions and sharing actual results. So that creates more trust again. And then you can also share your YouTube content, your LinkedIn posts, any content piece that you think is helpful for the community in that community. And that helps you to also get more traction on your LinkedIn and on your YouTube videos and views, which helps the algorithm to know better who who to serve your videos to. At the same time, you build trust, and so it becomes a very symbiotic win-win relationship where the community becomes stronger, your social channels grow faster, and you get more and more customers or prospects know that with Cream Digital, they can build their thing super quickly. So going forward, I think he will focus more on YouTube, or should focus more on YouTube, because that builds an even deeper relationship with his prospects. I would not do so much Hormuzi style, because I think there's an opportunity in the market for that as well, to be not like Hormuzi. What do I mean by that? In his most popular video a year ago, 2 months ago, this one, see? Tank top. Doesn't make sense. That's too much Hormuzi. Wouldn't do it. Cream Digital, what he stands for, this one here, is not tank top style. And there's so many founders, I think, making this mistake. For example, Get Poppy would be another one. Let's see if he changed it. No, still him in a tank top. This software is actually good, but because he is scamming it left and right, it is actually, I think, limited in terms of where it can grow. He needs to professionalize the branding, especially as he's now working with companies like Amazon and Notion and Toyota. Yeah, it's just too scammy. In the beginning, it can be scammy virally and with different tactics hook customers in, but at some point you need to evolve that to attract actual money, which is B2B. B2Bs don't fall for that, but entrepreneurs that want to become one-click millionaires, they do. I think that's something that he does better. Biggest opportunity is keep on doing what he's doing with LinkedIn and YouTube, become better in content marketing, go on more podcasts to increase his exposure, and then automate his agency so that it's systemized and he can serve more clients with more margin. As he is invested in Lovable, it makes also sense to, of course, promote Lovable more, because if this company becomes successful, then his return on investment will be really good. If he's not doing that, he should focus fully on personal branding, which is the GTM, to acquire customers, to build up trust, to pre-sell, and outsource, or not outsource, but delegate the full delivery to his team or someone that is an operations business partner. So building up these structures, super important that people don't ask him for feedback about details in the operations. So that will be really important. It's also hard in the beginning because as a founder, CEO, you're all over the place and everywhere involved. But at $250K a month, it's about time to start delegating that. Now, that's a classic one. Playbook, comment, build, and then you get it. So with that alone, and he has 7,000 comments, he got with that post alone 7,000 followers. That's a GIF of a Notion page of a very simple, lovable playbook, where obviously there's demand right now, and with that he got so many leads, and then he can, with all these leads, convert them into becoming agency clients, because of course the playbook helps you, but in the end you realize it's harder than you think. Perfect content marketing. So that's my 2 cents on him. Keep on watching him, because if he keeps on doing what he's doing, he will cross the $10 million mark, I think possible end of next year. The latest, summer 2027. If you're interested in more videos like this, please leave a comment below so that I can analyze more companies or more people, more personal brands, and tell you what I think they're doing good, what they can do better. And we look at their funnels and their offers and their pricing so that you can learn and apply these learnings to your business. Drop the names that you want me to look at. Then I will do a video with these people. You just have to drop a comment below. Awesome. See you in the next video.